People see it, I see it all the time. When you go to a rehab center, you go down to the jail is full of people who all their life, he was a criminal in the house. Why you think he ain't going to be a criminal when he leaves? People don't want you to say that. Now, I'm praying, I want God to give everybody mercy, but mercy to turn around. Not just to keep on doing the same stuff. If I'm not going to tell my children at home to do right, you in my house with me, then I'm going to send you down to the school. And then when the teacher calls and says, he acting up, I'm going to go down and say, this teacher called every day. They ain't doing nothing. Why would you think they're not doing nothing? They're not doing what you say at home. What makes you think a stranger going to control them? Hello? And then nobody wants to take responsibility. You can do a better job with mine than I can. Well, what's wrong with you? And if I ask you what's wrong with you, now you won't be upset saying I'm putting you down. No, if I got to raise your child, what's wrong with you? That's my question. You don't like the question? Raise your child. Hello? See, if you need, and this is the way life is, if you need me to pay your bills, where's your money? And if you don't give me the kind of excuse that I think is acceptable, then you get nothing. See, what's happening is, everybody wants their excuse to work. And y'all, you've got to understand that some of the excuses that people have been taking from you, they are very small excuses. They are very small excuses. So we've got a lot to learn. I believe in freedom because you are free. There's no point in me giving you a lot of rules because you do what you want to with your life. When y'all leave here, you do whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. I don't get a lot of questions from people about how to live life. I get a lot of questions about, people may ask me how to solve the part of the problem you won't solve. But what I'm trying to teach you is how to get to the level where a lot of the little knick-knack problems you got disappear. If you learn to walk in the Spirit, as I said the other night, then the flesh won't have any control over you. A lot of the little problems you have will be gone. They'll disappear. You create those problems by the way you behave. Self-discipline. And incidentally, Peter described, and it was interesting, in 2 Peter chapter 1, you can write it down if you want, the same Peter that walked on the water and sank, learned a lesson in his life. And in the book of 2 Peter chapter 1, he writes a letter to all who have received like precious faith. And here's what he describes it in. Y'all have received exceedingly great and precious promises, that through these you might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. Do y'all hear? That means you have the ability to live on a much higher level. And here's what he suggests. He says, now because of this, because you have these promises, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, which is good qualities. To virtue, knowledge. To knowledge, self-control. And he goes down the list and he says, if these things be in you in increasing quantities, they will make you that you shall neither be barren nor unfruitful. In other words, yes, you receive God's grace and God can save you. But if you want to stop sinking, decide to do some work on your own. Everybody wants to be rich. Everybody say they want to be rich. Well, I ain't talking about, I don't want to just be rich. I want to be rich in faith. I want to be rich in self-control. I don't want to fall below the line on anything. I want to have more than enough. Well, start having more than enough. How many of y'all have more than enough patience? When you develop more than enough patience, you have enough patience to work with the children to make them whatever they need to be. And you won't be running around, who are getting on my nerves? It's not their problem. They didn't make them sailors. You brought them here. And what they become is based on what you teach them. In all honesty, you don't have the right to not have the patience. You don't have the right. See, nobody's been telling us, people are not really telling us the truth. Now, people are going to go behind your back and say things. But see, the standards are so low. And I don't, listen to me, I don't care how I was raised. When you get to a certain point, the standard is still the same. When you go to a job, tell me if I'm wrong. When you go to a job, or whatever the standard is on your job, when you come in, do they say all of the people who come from the lower income communities, these are your job rules. Y'all have to be here by 8:15. We know y'all gonna be late. We won't write y'all up until after 8:15. Now everybody else that came from a better home, not against helping me, but how long should that go on? Should you be able to do that for 10 or 15 years? Do you follow? Now, people may think, what this got to do with God? Well, people don't want it to have anything to do with God. Because they want Jesus to be a man of low standards. But I don't know what Jesus you read about. I'm being honest. Because Jesus never lowered any of his. I'm talking about a man who snatched Peter up out of the water after he walked on the water, and he didn't tell him, good job, Peter. You walked a little bit. That's not what he said. He said, why did you stop? Seek perfection. Seek perfection. But this is what has been put in people's heads. You think you want to be made perfect when you die, but you want all your other stuff to be perfect. You want your eggs to be perfect when you go eat. Y'all, this is why I don't complain about stuff like food. I could complain. Maybe I do want it right. But generally, listen to me very carefully. The more you complain about small things, generally the more petty you are, and the more you go and avoid big things. Should I say it again? I'm telling you, this is why I keep telling y'all to stop making a big deal out of nothing, because you're learning to make such a big deal out of little things, and you never go deal with the major stuff. You know, it used to be an argument in families where the man pay all the bills and all the woman fuss about is you left something on the floor. And they do it so long until they stop being grateful for the fact that you even got somewhere to live. Now, I'm not saying... Like a demand now, like... Yeah. Demand everything and just... Yeah, you demanding nothing. You go to the restaurant, you're in an $8 a plate restaurant, and you demanded $90 service. Okay, I know where to make my money. You went to Burger King. Right. Get mad at Texas de Brazil or somewhere that... Exactly. Where you spent some money. Yeah. See, all I'm saying is, and y'all can hear me or not hear me, all you're doing is showing your own pettiness. You're showing where you are. If I'm going to court, and I'm telling y'all, particularly as a black man, I don't want to have a problem with a police officer. It is a joy to me to know that I can drive down the street in my car. Pull me over if you want. I got all my papers. I didn't always have all my papers. Anybody that's going, 10 years from now, if today I'm in a problem where if they pull me over, I got a problem with my papers. That shouldn't be my problem a year and a half from now. They shouldn't be still locking me up for the same stuff. And then I'm complaining about them. If you found me down there on that corner when I was 17, and you can still find me on that same corner, that's my problem. Because God gives you the opportunity to change. And there's no point in people keep blaming God when He's given us the ability to make the changes. We say we want to make the changes and just won't. We just don't want, just won't do it. So you're lying to yourself. Now what can I do? People have even developed the responsibility that you want me to be mad at you. I don't have time to be. That's what I finally realized. Mad at you for what? For the choices you make with your life, do what you want to with it. Do whatever you want to do with it. People are still, grown people are still wanting somebody to fuss at. And let me tell you where it becomes a problem, y'all. If you reach any level of success and when you get truly grown, ain't nobody gonna be there to fuss at you. See, I'm not gonna go home with you and tell you to get off the internet for 19 hours and get something done. So what will happen if there's nobody there to tell you what to do? We won't sleep right. We watch too much TV. We won't work out. We won't eat right. We all are adults still wanting somebody to tell us what to do. We get married to get a spouse that will tell us what to do. When are you going to decide, I'm going to tell myself? It's called self-control. Peter said, if you develop some virtue and self-control, now it's work, it takes time. If you develop these things, they will make you that you shall neither be barren nor unfruitful. The characteristics make you successful, not you. People are so into their personal self. Well, everybody else get one, I should get one too. You don't get rewarded we don't get rewarded in life based on who we are personally. God is not a respecter of persons. He is a respecter of principles. And because he's so good, it's almost like a victim of the goodness of God. That is, the lower I'll let the standard be, the lower he'll allow you to live and still feed you, the lower you're willing to live. Because, see, in order to come up, you have to decide that you're going to do it yourself. And you can't let your flesh decide because your flesh is not going to feel right. And if you've been programmed, and most people have been programmed, if you walk around all day long talking about how you feel about it, how you feel, what they said, how I'm up or down, you will never be able to accomplish it. I'm just telling you the truth. You have to decide that you're going to live by a standard, not based on how you feel about the standard. It is what it is. And I know you can do it because when money is involved, you do it all the time. These people, with the communities now, they're giving it, they build an apartment community and say, you can live in here, but we got to do an inspection every month. I bet you that people are ready for the inspections. Well, why couldn't you keep yours clean on your own? Because you're still acting like a child. But you want to be treated like an adult. Somebody make me act right. I wasn't even doing nothing. How many times you heard that? That's why you're having problems, because you wasn't doing nothing. Can people always call you on the phone and you always do nothing? What you do? Nothing. And then the problems you're having with life. They said the standard's too high. Honestly, is that really what it is? Is that what it is? The standards are too high for you. For the success you want, is the standard too high? I am asking the question. Are you not capable? See, we're going to get past all this mess about getting, Lord, save me, deliver me. I'm going to keep on going, get in trouble, Lord, keep pulling me out of the hole. If that's how you want to live, keep doing it. If that's how you want to live. But if you want something better, it's up to you how quickly you want it to change. It does not have to take years. Whatever excuse you give is the one you got. Y'all hear me? It doesn't take that long. A lot of the stuff we're doing does not take nearly as long as we're willing to allow it to take. There are people who lose 30 pounds in 30 days. If you wanted to lose, just using that as an example. You want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days? Eat right. Exercise every day. You don't want to do that? Then set 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is. Change your lifestyle. People running around worried about getting sick. Well, why don't you slowly take the things out of your life that make you sick, including the negative thoughts? Everybody want to stop being depressed, but everybody want to watch depressing stuff. You want to fill your mind with negative news, and all your friends are negative, and then you want to not be depressed. Somebody explain to me how that's going to work. Please. And then if I come to you and say, hey, let some of that go.
It's hard.
Okay, well, make it as hard. Life is as hard or as easy as you want it to. That's all I'm saying. It's as hard or as easy as you want it to be. I believe that. I don't want the excuses because I don't want to lose. And whatever excuse I make, you know what the excuse allows me to do? An excuse gives me a good reason to lose. That's all it does. And you want a good excuse? Keep yours. I want to find a way to get rid of it. And I want to find it today.